Hello, everybody. It's Friday. It's Friday. What do you want? Welcome, everybody. Where is everybody? There we go. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys. I just wasn't seeing chat yet. Hi, Candy and Jean and Tink. Good to see you. Hope you all doing well. Hi, Gail and Michelle. Yeah, that's, yes, indeed, it's drama-free Friday, we hope. We hope. So, let me get, because I forgot to put up the cat cam. You know how that goes. Goes over like a lead balloon around here. Yeah, like a lead balloon. All right. Sponsor cam. You know what? We gotta have sponsor cam. Otherwise, they get all upset, don't they? I should do this ahead of time because it takes a fat minute to get it straight. When Race is here, he just goes zink zink zink, and it's all straight and beautiful and perfect. And you know, that's because he's good and I'm not when it comes to this stuff. We'll call it good enough. All right, you coming up? You are? I thought that might be the case. You coming? All right, come here. Yeah, you gotta quit talking about it and just come up here. Come on. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, lie down so you can be in front of the camera, so you can be the star of the show. Sponsor number one. Let's see. Hi, Noeet. Oh, you're sweet, Michelle. Thank you. Hi, Judy. Hi, Joan. Hi, Sherry. Sherry and Terry, and Joan. I don't know if I said Joan. I probably just did. Janice. Anyway, welcome. Oh, welcome. Whoops. Wrong. Yes. And Chance is here to say hello to everybody. I'm glad you're here today. Kind of goo is that? Anyway, yeah, it's Friday. March. It's March already. Can you believe that? It is March already. Are you on up here too? Well, I was waiting for you. All right. Okay, sponsor number 2 coming up. All right. Make yourself at home. Okay, I forgot to clean up everybody's eyeballs. Oh well, you guys will just have to put up with cruddy eyes. Let's see, who else did I miss? They are purring away. You're hogging all the camera. You can't do that. You're hogging all the camera. What have you got on you? I'll tell you what, they forgot to clean themselves up before they got on here. Hi, Mickey. Yeah, the Ides of March, for real. Anyway, so welcome to everybody. If you're new here by some chance, This is Chance, the sponsor. We call them the sponsors because they usually let me stream. Not always, but usually. Sometimes last week, Chance was a real pill. He sat in the room and complained the whole time. That was last week. Hopefully they'll be better today. We never know about that. Hi, Tracy. So anyway, this is Chance. This one is Charlie. Chance is a blue point Siamese. Charlie is a chocolate point Siamese. Both of them are getting some age on them now. Hey, Dorothy, good to see you. So they are starting to have, issues now and then. We haven't had any for a little bit. I hope I didn't just curse myself. Hey, Jan. Yeah, I hope I didn't curse myself by saying we hadn't had any issues for a while. Right? Yeah. They have to have some special compensation made for them now. But, that's the way it goes. Hello, Linda. Hi, Kate. Hi, Tori. So, if this annoys you that I'm saying hello to everybody, then you can just, if you're watching the recording, scroll on by. If you're here live and this irritates you, come back later. Come back in a few minutes, 10 minutes maybe. Because we just chat in the beginning, give everybody a chance to show up, and for the sponsors to get their 15 minutes of fame and admire their fans, or let their fans admire them. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, they love to be admired. I don't know why they do this thing that they do in front of the cameras. This camera, they have done it as long as I've had them. And the first time I put a camera up like this, they laid down, and Chance always does. Charlie is a little more, I don't know. He just sometimes comes up and sometimes doesn't. Hi, Shu. Hi, Kasha. So, yeah, but they've always done pretty much consistently done this, where they get up here and they love to be in front of the camera. And since I started doing it at the beginning of the stream, they start haunting me at 11 a.m. my time. I stream so it would be noon Eastern. I don't, and so I end up fully encased in cat hair before I ever get started, especially when I have on navy blue. Hi, Barbara Clark. There's Clausman. So, yeah. So anyway, that is what they do. I don't know why they love being in front of this camera, because they can't see you guys. Last week, Chance was completely enthralled with the monitors. He was watching himself on the monitors. He just thought that was the greatest thing ever. Hey, Debbie, because he loves to watch my phone. Because he's weird. Because he's a weirdo like that, aren't you? You're a weird cat. So anyway, it seems to work better. Usually speaking, it works better if I put them up here to begin with, and then most of the time, hi Chris, most of the time they're content to go in the other room. Yeah. Not always, huh? But we got a lot to do today. And so I think I'm going to put you in there. They're both like, nuh-uh, we're just fine. You see this thing? Look. Look, he's like, no, I don't need to go anywhere. Chance is going to go exploring. Yeah, so you want to get the camera time? You want to get camera time? They have to look at my computer because you're too lazy to move. Charlie has been doing pretty well, haven't you? Yep, he's been doing pretty well for the last several months, which I'm grateful for. Hi, Carlene. Good to see you. Yeah, so Charlie's the one that's had the more issues. Chance was not going to be outdone. He's had some issues of his own, but not quite as much as Charlie. So anyway, all right. Guess what you get to do? You get to go in the other room. Yeah. So now that they've had their 15 minutes and Chance is annoyed with the whole thing, I'm going to go put him away, hopefully, and wash my hands. And then I'll be right back. All right, you. Come on. Come on. Come on, Chance. Come on. Come on. Come here. Yes. You're going to run from me, aren't you? Yep, because you like to run. All right. Go have a nice sun bath. I'll be right back. If Race shows up in the chat, you guys will have to tell him how good his teeth look. He had some dental work done, and he had to have, cat hair, go. He had to get his 2 front teeth. Here I am thinking I'm recording, and I'm not. Anyway, it'll be on YouTube, it's fine. But anywho, yeah, so he had to get his 2 front teeth redone, and he got him finished up today. So he's a happy camper. Hi, CB. So be sure and tell him how great he looks. Hi, Joyce. Hey, Carla. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in forever. Yeah. Okay, so last week we did, well, first of all, I wanted to talk to you about this. This beauty, I don't know if you can see it or not, is a piece of fused glass. And I just thought I would show this to you. I can't do it justice. The camera does not do it justice. There's the back side, there's the front side. The color is actually lots of purples, and it's beautiful, and I just thought I would show it to you. I know it has been forever, for really, yeah. Anyway, this was a gift to me by my son and his girlfriend, and it is Fusion in Glass, and it is from fusioninglass.com. So I just thought I would read this to you. Glass is a fusion of opposites, liquid made solid and asked to flow. Kyle von Wrangel-Kinsey, that's quite a mouthful, as an artist in glass, makes these requests of his medium, and it responds with energy and ebullience. Lady Jan will know what that means, ebullience. Born and raised in Seattle, Kyle grew up in and around the studio of his grandmother, Margaret von Wrangel, and Wrangel is spelled W-R-A-N-G-E-L, internationally known glass artist and pioneer in the field of glass fusion. Throughout a lifetime of work and play, Kyle has, that is a great statement, isn't it? Throughout a lifetime of work and play, Kyle has built a technique and style uniquely his own. Mr. Kinsey's glass is a fine art. Starting with sheets of colored and dichroic glasses, Kyle creates each unique composition, then fuses the disparate parts together to become one in the heat of the kiln. And it's from, I think they were in Seattle at one point not too long ago. I think that might have been where it came from. Anyway, isn't that nice? Really nice. So anyway, I just thought I would show you how pretty that. I just think it's beautiful. So nice. Okay, last week we did paste paper, and I told you, hi Ellie. Last week I told you that I had things made from paste paper, in case you haven't seen them, that I was going to show you, and then I couldn't put my hand on them. However, I finally found them right where I left them. So I'll show them to you real quick. A lot of you have seen these multiple times, and you're probably sick of seeing them. Hey Sharon. Although I always love looking at them, to tell you the truth myself. I always like to look at them. So anyway, we'll look at these. The first one I'm going to show you is a book that I did that combines actually two classes that are here on, two classes from How to Get Creative, but they're here on YouTube. They're ones that we put on YouTube. And so this is the locker hooking from the locker hooking class. So that's the binding. So this is locker hooking. And then all the pages in here are paste paper. There you go. I knew Jan would put that in there. Ebullience, cheerful and full of energy. Perfect description of you and your art. That's not me. It would be nice if it were true. Anyway. That's right, Ellie. They were in the last place I looked. Just like they always are, right? I went to a class. This is quite a number of years ago. It was a portrait painting class. We were painting portraits in oil using a photograph as, that we were reproducing in oil. The whole thing. Anyway, the teacher from that class said she was looking for something in her stuff, and she says, "Do you ever just find yourself just looking in the same place over and over and over?" She said, "Well, now when I do that, I just say, nope, it's not back yet." I think of that every time. I'm looking in the same place again and again and again. Yeah. Nope, it's not back yet. So anyway, this is a book made with paste paper. So the whole thing is made with all different kinds of paste papers. And the poor thing is a little shop worn now. It's kind of got some bent covers and stuff. But I just thought I would show you that sometimes you can make a book if you like it. Carla knows this. Caged Fish Carla knows this. You can make a book that doesn't have to have any particular other purpose. Let's see here. And that's what this is. It's just made with paste papers, just like this. And these are some of my very favorites. What you see in the background on this is you see a stencil in the background. That green in the background, I think, was the stencil. I know this was a mark making tool. Anyway, we talked about that last week, and this is definitely some dilution spray in the background, because that's what I like to do. This is a stencil. That's what I like to do to start with, using the dilution spray or anything else that's really heavily influenced by water, because it just gives you just another layer of pattern, which is really cool. This is a stencil. This is a piece of that needlepoint, plastic needlepoint canvas. And this is a stencil. So it's an easy way to get yourself started. I didn't do that last week because I didn't have time and I didn't want to make the mess. I hate making that kind of mess with those sprays on my table. That's an outdoor thing. Mm-hmm. Sherry says she's got a gel plate but has no idea what to do with all the pretty prints. Mm-hmm. So these are all done with paste paper, And so it's paint and art paste and so forth. It's a whole process. Anyway, I just thought I would show them to you so you could see. This is a stamp right here, a foam stamp. So you could just see that in a case like this, all I did was make the book. I'm not going to ever do anything else to this book because I like it just the way it is. And it's just made of all my favorite paste papers. And these are all done on cardstock in this book. And you can see that there's really a lot on there. And there's enough room that I could actually add more stuff to this if I wanted, but I didn't. And the binding, they're stitched to a piece of Tyvek. I'm sure you can't see that. Well, you might be able to see it a little bit, but they're stitched to a piece of Tyvek. And then you can see it here. If I'd been on my game, I would have covered the Tyvek. It looks kind of crappy, but you know, c'est la vie, or at least painted it, right? Would have at least painted it, but I didn't. I must have been in a hurry. That's probably the case. Anyway, this is a paste paper book done in more of a traditional binding style with a locker hooking binding. This one is an accordion style book. Okay, so it's accordion. Again, paste papers. So these are paste papers, and in the background is, I think the background was from when I was jelly plate printing on the Canson mixed media paper. I think I was jelly plate printing. I usually have my big tablet of the Canson paper, and as I'm jelly plate printing, I am rolling off, cleaning the brayer on those big sheets of paper. Did I paint on both sides? Yes. I say that, now I gotta look. Yes, they're done. They're done each side of the cardstock. They're not glued together. This is one piece of cardstock. So like this is one side and that's the other. So, yeah. So it takes a while because you've got to paint, do the process. And each piece of paste paper usually takes, I do at least 2 and often 3 applications of the paste paint. But you really need to let them dry in between. And plus the stencils to get all the papers ready to go. So these pieces on here, these are paste paper. Again, these are some of my favorite different prints. I love this one. I love this one too. I love all of these. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken the time to put them in a book, right? But the background is, I'm sure that's Canson mixed media paper. So there's that side, and then you just keep going. I love this one. I love them all. I love them all. So you can put it up, you can display it somewhere if you have a long enough place like a mantle or whatever. So you can display it one way, and then if you want to, you can turn it around and display it the other way because they're 2 totally different sides. Actually, that's watercolor paper. I take it back. This is watercolor paper back here, not Canson mixed media paper. And here's another one, similar kind of thing, an accordion style book. And some of these are paste papers and some of them are jelly prints in this one. Hello, Margaret. And in this case, there was a doodle space, so I took advantage of it. And so I just wrote some stuff and doodled in there. So this one is a paste paper print. This is paste paper, so is that. I think this is watercolor paper in the background also. So both of these are paste papers. This is a jelly plate print, paste paper. Both of these are paste papers, so is that. And both of these are and this, and this. So I guess it just had one jelly print in it. This one, that was a jelly plate print. So that is, those are both, those are all done with paste paper. So those are some books. And then I use the paste papers for all different kinds of things. So these are little ATC type things. And you can, you know, take bits and pieces, cut things out, punch things out. Even the tiniest little pieces you can use of the paste papers. So really simple. This is one piece in the background and then a die cut on the top. Super simple. And I love bookmarks. And this is a paste paper. This is one piece. It looks like it's split, but it's not. This is one piece, just mounted on black. This is paste paper scraps put on a card. These are woven. These are paste papers that are woven. So these are woven. You get a lot more bang for your buck if you do smaller strips, but this was for a class, and so we had to do something that was pretty big, although they're effective if they're big pieces too. So these were all from a class that I taught. So you can see some uses for those with I like to make lots of greeting cards because I use lots of greeting cards. And I don't want fancy greeting cards. I want fast. I want fast greeting cards. It's a lot of fun when you weave strips of paper where they're not straight. You know, they're done in a wonky fashion. There's another one. So most of these are cards here. Yeah, this is a card. And then this is another little book that had samples. A lot of them I've cabbaged out of here now. But this is paste paper on the front. This was actually a photo album, I think it was, that I got at Hobby Lobby or someplace, and I just covered it. So this is paste paper, and it's, you know, it is very much out of shape, but, you know, it is what it is. So this is paste paper also. I mean, it's come loose from whatever this cardboard is. It was cheap. So cheap. Probably had all kinds of acid and crap in it. I'm probably looking at this the wrong way around. Maybe this is the right way. Yeah, this is actually the front cover. Paste paper, paste paper. These were pieces of paste paper that I cut into these shapes. This was actually a stamp that I carved. And so then I stamped it. Is that what I did? I think what I did is I stamped it out and increased the size of the image and then used it as a pattern. I think that's what I did. Anyway, the original idea came from a stamp that I did, I believe. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, it's from this one. Okay, so there's the original stamp I carved. And so I stamped it on something and copied it, but increased the size and made a pattern out of it. That's what I did. See, eventually it all comes back to me, but sometimes I have to really think. I have to really think about stuff. So there's that one. But that way you can use your paste papers to do effectively paper piecing. Like I said, and there is the actual stamp that's done on the envelope. So these are just ATCs, just like those other ones I showed you. This is just a card. More bookmarks, and then there's the back cover that's kind of coming apart, and the back cover, the back cover. So anyway, those are all examples of sorry, I'm trying to do something and talk at the same time. That never works out for me. Just never works out. Those are examples of paste papers. Okay, any questions? Okay. What's the difference with jelly paper? It's really a completely different process. It's a really completely different process. They have similar looks, but it's a totally different process. So you can, I have two videos here, Paste Paper Pizzazz and Paste Paper is Fabulous, that goes through step by step by step. They're actually classes from HowToGetCreative.com that we put on YouTube. We have 12 classes here, so people can see exactly what the website's about. Okay, so that's that. So any questions? Any other questions? I don't mean, Maria, to just, ignore you, but I've been through it in the videos, so it would be much better for you to watch those other videos than for me to try to tell you how to do it really quickly. But it's quite a different process. Okay, so the pieces we did last week, we're going to do a couple of things today. We're going to do a quick, I don't do anything quick. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? I don't do anything fast. I try. It's really hard to do things fast. I'm going to show you the pieces, some of the pieces we did last week. Some of them I've already cut up. We're going to make a few cards, or at least card fronts, and then we're going to do some Picasso dogs, like similar to Carlos Sondheim's method. Okay? All right. So these are some of the sheets that we did last week. These are done on printer paper or copy paper, and each of these only has 2 layers. These did not start with the stencils or the spray inks or anything, and they really, they need at least one more layer of the paste paint on top of them just to make them more interesting, but I didn't have time to do that this week. Anywho, what I have done with these, I think we did 5 or 6 pieces last week, and I cut them up. Or the first thing I did is let them thoroughly dry, and then I sprayed the back lightly with water and ironed them. Okay, so ironed them so that they would flatten out. But this is copy paper. You can do the paste paint and make paste papers out of anything. Newspaper, newsprint, old papers. You can do this. You can use colored paper. You can use colored cardstocks. You can use old, awful scrapbook paper. That's one of my favorites to use. Things that I think, oh, those are so ugly. But each of these has 2 applications of paint, I think. I don't think I got to the 3rd layer on any of them. But those are, what they look like in the big sheet. Ironing does help them. They're never going to, I don't know if I can show you there, you can kind of see it. They're never going to go completely flat, ever. It's never going to go back to its original form. So you have to be okay with that. So here are some of the other ones that I did. This is one of my particular favorites. I really like the way that turned out. Because this one had blue and green on the first layer, and then I went back over it on the top of it with orange and pink. Hi, Joy. Race, we think you look beautiful. Isn't that a nice one? We think you look great. We think you're very handsome. So there are those. What I'm going to do first of all, so I don't forget, is I'm going to ink around the edges. So I'm going to do that real quick. He is handsome, isn't he? Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All I'm using on this to ink the edges is the archival ink. This is what I really like to use. And so I'm just going to use this and just quickly go around the edges. I just like it. This is easier to do if it's cardstock. I really like to ink around the edges. First of all, it just gives it a little bit of a finish, and I am famous for forgetting this step, but I think it gives it a nice finished look. So I thought we would do this. So we'll do, I'm not going to do all of these. Aren't you relieved? How about if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 6. Unless I get tired, and then we'll do 4. Yeah, the reason Race has had to have the follow-up dentistry as an adult was when he was a little boy. We were in a Burger King he was little. He was like in 3rd grade or something. He was really pretty, I think 3rd grade, maybe a little older. I don't remember. He was young. He was in grade school. And there was a playground there. And he went out to play, and they had used really big gravel, like big, way too big gravel, on their playground, and very hard to walk on. And of course, I didn't realize it. And he'd gone out there to play, and he got tripped up in this big gravel, and he fell and broke his 2 front teeth. And so that set up a lifetime of issues for him. And of course, fortunately, dentistry has changed and improved, and so they now have fixed his teeth where they look terrific. But it was the whole thing was super traumatic for him for a long time. Probably still is. He probably still has trauma from that experience. But it was bad. Bad news. Anyway, all these years later, he now has pretty toofies. All right. If you don't have a lint roller to clean up your space, I highly recommend that you get one. It's better. It's for things other than just cleaning up cat hair. I hope you're doing well today and that you're having a great day. We do this show here on YouTube, and then we have classes over at HowToGetCreative.com. Okay, so what I have now is I have all kinds of little flower ladies that I have made. So these are from the VIP class that I did a long time ago. And they were originally inspired by a flower lady that Dee Dee Willingham did for me. Here's one that Dee Dee did for me a long time ago. I don't think she dated. Don't think so. But anyway, Dee Dee did this one for me, and and so that is what inspired my garden of ladies. The faces that are on them are faces that I drew, and then I've resized them. The originals are much bigger than this, and then I sized them down. Anywho, so let's put some ladies on some of these card fronts, shall we? So Race is telling you the rest of the story, huh? That's good. Okay, so let's see what we want to put on here. And I have learned most of the time not to stress out over who goes on what. We'll just put her. Most of the time, my first choice is the one I end up going with. These are not mounted on black. The original, the big ones, were put on black. And so the black edging comes from the fact that that's how the original was done. And then to get rid of, so they were printed on white cardstock. So then to get rid of that white of the paper, you can come back, and sometimes I do this and sometimes I don't. Honestly, it just depends. It just depends on the mood I'm in. Are you guys like that, where you just go, yep, not in the mood to do that today? And this is a Copic marker. These are just printed on an inkjet printer and cut out. I sit and watch TV or listen to TV and cut these out till I have a whole big bunch of them. And then when I have a whole bunch of them, then I'm ready to put them on the cards. And then you get to decide how you want to mount them. I'm just going to use glue stick. And you may have a better way to do some of these things, but anyway, that's what I'm doing, just using glue stick and using a cruddy piece of recycled paper. And then I'm just going to put her on here. And if I get her off center, I get her off center, and then what I do is I end up taking, I'll add a word or something to it if I need to balance it. So there is paste paper background that we did last week with a flower lady on the top. And that makes a card front that, let's see, I buy these pre-folded card front or card bases, and then I make the card front, and then I just mount it right on the card itself. And I buy these in as many colors as I can get them, so that I have lots of choices, because I like choices. It's good if you put these under something heavy, like a book. This is a book that Race sent to me, which is a pretty cool book, actually. I've kind of thought about tearing it up, and then I thought, I don't think I can do it. It's called The Book of the Hand. I don't know where he got it, but it's a really cool book. And so I use it as much as anything. I look through it, and then the rest of the time I use it for weighing things down. And this was copyright's 1965. It's just got all different kinds of things about the hands and handprints, and they're very cool. It's a cool book. Anyway, so sometimes that's what I do. I just use that as my weight so that things will dry out. Hello, Deborah. Hi, Christine. Okay, so let's do this one. So let's get our flower garden back. So I hope you all are doing well and enjoying a nice day. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Usually what I do is I'll go through these and I'll pick out who I want on what ahead of time, and then I just get busy gluing. And some of these, oh my gosh, like this one, you talk about a dumb thing to cut out. All those little ins and outs. I don't know whose idea that was. Who made that? It's one of those. Who did that? All right, maybe we'll just put her on there. That's good enough. Hi, Kathy. So again, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today. It's kind of a low-key kind of a stream today. Low-key. Anytime you're doing this kind of thing where you're going around an edge like this, I learned this trick from somebody else on back in the Ustream days. And the tip was to always put your marker, the bulk of your marker should be below whatever you're doing. So most of my marker is underneath, because if you're going to mess up, it's going to come over on the back of your piece that you're going around, that you're edging, and not on the top. So as opposed to this, if you slip, you're going to mark on the front. If you're doing it this way and you slip, you're going to mark on the back. You can't spend much time in any one space when you're doing this with an alcohol solvent-based marker, because if you do, it's going to generally bleed up into the paper. So you got to use a light hand and go fairly quickly when you do this. And I don't stress out about whether I get every single bit of every little thing, you know, because some of those little sections are too tight to get into. Even with the pointy marker like this, they're a little hard to get into. So you just do the best you can. All right, so we'll do those two. Well, it will save, by taking advantage of that little tip, it will save your artwork, and it will save your frustration, and it will save all kinds of bad words too. And I'm just using a good glue stick. This is my favorite glue stick at the moment. It has been for a while. It is a lot harder to find than it used to be. This is the Elmer's Extreme glue stick. A lot harder to find than it used to be. The last time I got them, I bought them on Amazon, and I bought them I think I bought, I don't know, 12 or 15. So fortunately, I still have plenty of glue sticks. And I go back later if they're, after they've had a chance to dry. If they're not sticking down, then I'll go back with a little bit of tacky glue and a straight pin, and I'll just sneak a little glue under there. And hey, Beth, I'll sneak a little glue under there and remedy that situation. So, under the book. Okay. How's Beth doing? Haven't seen you in a while. I have heard that the Amazon glue sticks, Amazon basic glue sticks, are good. I have not tried those, but I've heard from a lot of different people that they really like them. So what's your favorite glue stick to use if you use stick glue? Carla should be the, I don't know if she's still here, Caged Fish Carla. She did a whole, at least one video on different kinds of glue sticks. She uses glue stick a lot. So what's your current favorite, Carla, if you're still here? Beth is working and lurking. There you go. So she's a little bit off center, but you know, if I need to, I'll put a word on it to balance it. Giotto, I am not familiar with that. I don't even know if I said that right. I don't know if that is the right pronunciation of that word. We've finally gotten some spring-like weather here. It's really nice. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to making things go together, because it's just like, just pick one up and put them on. They all look good, you know? They all look good. Whoever gets this card, I hope you, whoops, I forgot to do the edges on this one. Oh well, you can't do the edges on this very well anyway because of all those little ins and outs. This one takes the longest period of time to cut out because of all those little flower petal things. And I just eyeball them, you know. But I love taking my own artwork and making copies of it and being able to reuse it. So that one, I did not do the edge of the around the flower lady. We'll look at one that I did. So this one has been edged around. This one has not. I don't know that it's worth taking the time to do it because I don't think you can tell a whole lot of difference. So anyway. So Barbara likes Elmer's Extreme too. Beth is a little off center too. There you go. Prit. Maria likes Prit. Carla likes the Extreme. Yeah, it's a good glue. I think it's a good glue stick. Okay, let's do two more. Let's do this one. What shall we put on here? Who shall we put on here? I don't think you're big enough. How about you? Are you big enough? Well, that is a busy little girl. We'll use her. We'll do her. These are more fun to make. They are messy, messy things to do. But then a lot of things I do are super messy. like making these little flowers. When I'm going to do these, I have to be in the right mood, because you have little bits of paper and seed catalogs and flower catalogs and flower magazines and stuff everywhere. So you got to be in the right kind of mood to make things like this. And it's a lot of fussy cutting. But they really are fun to do. So, but I drew the face originally. There's two faces, one with the eyes open and one with the eyes closed. I've given away those faces numerous times for various and sundry things that we've done over the years. And so these are the two faces. So there's the closed eye and the open eye girl. They have two completely different expressions. But they are considerably bigger, the faces. I drew them big, and I often do that. I'll draw something big and then reduce it in the copying. And I just have a cheap, really cheap, cost me less than $100. I've paid for it dozens of times in ink. Cheap all-in-one printer. It's an HP. And it's clearly not very high quality, but it does what I want it to do. And so it works really well for taking my own artwork and recycling it. As long as I don't get hung up in how perfect it has to be. If I want perfect, I'm going to have to make a different plan, because perfect is not going to happen with this little cheap printer, but it sure works well for what I want it to be used for. I love having the scanning function, the copying function where I can resize everything. Yeah. Okay, so those are drying for a minute, and I'm going to put these little flowers away. And I was going to show you when I started doing the prints on these. Sometimes my printer, like I just told you, is El Cheapo. Let's see if I can find this girl here. This is how she's supposed to look. Okay, this is what she really looked like. This is how she printed out on that particular given day. And at first I was so irritated that, because I was expecting this and I got that. And then I realized that nobody knew. I mean, now because I've shown you. But nobody knew that that's how it was supposed to look. She looks very acceptable, just like that. This was another one. Okay, here's one. Here's the way it should look and the way it printed. I don't worry about stuff like that. The Epson Echo Tank. Yeah, Race keeps talking about that. Hi, Anlar. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Dana. Sorry, I got busy talking and wasn't paying attention. Yeah, we've talked about that, getting one of those printers. It's pretty expensive up front, right? And then after that, it's extremely economical. I mean, you're going to pay for it one way or the other. You're either going to pay for it up front, or you're going to pay for it in ink over and over and over and over and over. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the way she was supposed to be. And this is the way that on that day that she printed out. But again, if you don't know that it's supposed to be like this is fine. That's fine. And even like this, do you see, I don't know if you can tell, see the lines in the printing? No, not good. But I can take colored pencils and I can fix a lot of that. The same one, I printed her out. I hadn't used the printer for a while, quite a while. Printed out, and clearly I needed to change the ink cartridges. And at first I'm like, oh man. And I thought, no, I'll just put some colored pencil on it. Have enough. So the Epson EcoTank is not that expensive, and they have several different models. Yeah, I really have thought about switching. And when this printer dies, I hope I have not just cursed myself. When this printer dies, that may be what we end up going with. Any hoot. Okay, so there is the flower garden. And so I have lots of ladies. I love having stuff done so that when it comes time to make cards, I don't have to think about it. I can just go, oh, I have all those little flower ladies. I can just make some cards. And all I got to do is I can put them on scrapbook paper or plain cardstock or, jelly plate backgrounds or whatever. Let's see. There they are. Okay. So maybe these have set up. We'll see. So that they're flat-ish. All right. I'm going to peruse my card choices here. Kind of getting low on color choices. I'm gonna have to go invest in some more card blanks. I do love having these already done, so I don't have to do them. I can waste my time making card blanks, or I can just go buy them already done. Okay, we're going to use that one. Again, I don't spend a lot of time deciding. I usually will try twice, and if whatever appeals to me the first time usually is the one I go with. Hi, Signa. $300. Yeah, that's true. That is, the ink is just so expensive. It's so crazy. The ink cartridges. Craziness. Craziness, isn't it? You pay for the printer over and over and over in the ink. But Race and I talked about it. Probably the next time he's home, we'll have to think about that. But he hasn't been able to come home because of the whole COVID thing. He ended up sick, and that was not good. He's fully recovered now. And we've had our first shots, so hopefully we will be in good shape here before long too. Okay, so that's what I do is I just go through my colors of these little card bases and decide what colors I want to use. I get them ready to go like that, so everybody's ready. Everybody's got a partner. And then I just sit down and use my score tape. I usually use 1/4 inch unless I'm out of it. And if I'm out of it, I use what I got. Now, this is the part that Barb is terrible at. I know. Yeah. Actually, it's not this part, it's the next part that I'm terrible at. We probably won't do all of these. We'll just do a couple of these. You'll see the idea if you haven't watched me do this before. Look at that. If you haven't seen me rip the card before, now you have. That's what happens when you're not being careful. When you're not being careful. Alright, well, it's an opportunity to fix. Well, what do we want to do? I'm just going to put it on just like that, and then what I'll do later is I'll use some gel pens. I'll use some gel pens and I'll decorate it. Yep, we're not going to sweat that. Just because it doesn't go according to plan doesn't mean that it was wrong. It just wasn't the way I intended. Yeah, oh well. Right? What is it Dina Wakley says? Oops, oh well. That's what happens when you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. And I'm working on printer paper instead of cardstock. If you're on cardstock that as the background, that doesn't happen so much. Anyway, the next part is the part that I really screw up. So for my next trick, I just start the corners of my tapes. And usually I just do two opposite corners, but since I've got weirdness going on here, I'm doing a little bit more. Alright, let's see if we can get this on here. This is the part I have trouble with. Trying to get it straight. With a more or less even situation. Yeah, I'll just decorate that little corner, or maybe I'll sign it down there. That's another thing. Yeah, so little mouse took a bite out of it. That's all right. No big deal. We just make lemons out of, or lemonade out of lemons. We'll do one more. I'll see if I can do this one a little bit better. The glue stick would work for this, which is because it's paper, but I find that it doesn't work very well for the cardstock backgrounds because it's just glue stick to me just doesn't, it's not strong enough, but could just be me. Could just be me. And this to me, for this particular step, is a little bit cleaner. I don't tend to get quite as much transfer of glue stick, although you can rip the corner off your artwork. But that's why there are so many different products and so many different ways of doing things, you know? So the best thing to do here when you're doing this is before you take the tape off, look at it so you know exactly how much room you have around the outside. So it's about 1/8 of an inch. In a perfect world, it's 1/8 of an inch. But of course, these are cheap card bases. So sometimes they're not folded exactly. They're not cut exactly. So now, if you line up this corner, which I have not taken the release paper off of, and this corner down here, which has not got the release paper off of it, theoretically, you'll get it straight. I still, that's not a guarantee for me that it will be straight. Some people can do that. Of course, they've been doing it a lot more than I have. Some people are so good at getting those card fronts lined up and stuff. Nah, not me. I always have to have a way of covering my mistakes. So it's not perfect, but it's, as long as it's semi-straight, I'm good. Okay, so that's what I do with the paste paper backgrounds, so you know what the rest of this process is all about for these. And then from there, I might use a Tim Holtz word, or use a pen, you know, and doodle in mistakes, you know, so it looks like it was intentional. Yeah, there is that. Okay, any questions about paste paper and kind of what you can do with it? Welcome back, Ellie. Hey, Becky. Anybody that I missed, hello, hello, welcome. Hi, Renee. It's a slow process in Norway. Yeah, here they're finally picking up speed. It's been slow here, but they're picking up speed now. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, this was a request by one of you guys. I think it might have been Tracy, but I'm not sure. Where we talked about, thank you. Oh, thanks. Hi, Sylvia. About the Picasso dogs that Carla Sondheim does. And so I thought that we'd do some Picasso dogs. Now, mine will not look like Carla's because Carla is Carla, right? This is Carla Sondheim. This is from the book Drawing Lab for Mixed Media Artists. She also did the same thing in one of her free classes that she did for kids. It was a kids art camp. And so she included this in one of those. So I'm not showing you anything that is that she hasn't already put out there a number of times. All right, Picasso dogs. So what we're going to do is, I just have a bunch of scraps of watercolor paper in different weights. Some of it's 140 pounds, some of it's 90 pounds. So we'll use this one, you know, because I just have a bunch of scraps from other projects. And so we're going to follow her instruction, and that is, I'm going to use a pencil. First of all, it's going to get a pencil. Sometimes she works straight with a marker, and sometimes she works with a pencil first. So it's pretty much whatever, you know, whatever you want to do. This book has been out for quite a while, but it's pretty good. A lot of good ideas in this book. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon as one of the from one of the resellers if you want to do that. So, okay, so the first thing you do, watercolor paper, and the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to have it in whatever orientation. It doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to draw an eye. So I'm going to draw an eye, just like that. Doesn't have to be that detailed or anything. And then we're going to turn the paper 90 degrees clockwise. So the hands of the clock go this way. So we're going to go like this, 90 degrees. I'm going to draw another eye. It can be like this or like any other style of eye. So maybe we'll do this 3 times bigger than this one, give or take a little bit. Then we're going to turn it 90 degrees again, and let's see, this time it is draw a nose or a snout. So let's see, I'll just do a nose or a snout. I'm going to go don't get too detailed. Okay, nose or snout. Turn it again, and then we're going to draw an ear. So maybe we'll do an ear. And then I'm going to turn it again. Everything is 90 degrees. Oh, thank you, Joyce. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. Good, Alicia. I'm glad you're having lunch with us. Robin, you can always just scroll back. You can scroll back in real time if you want to. Okay, so we did an ear, and then we're going to do a tongue. So a tongue, and then we're going to move it again, and we're going to draw a paw. So, and we're going to go again, and we're going to draw, I'm going to draw a tail. Okay, now, after that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start looking at it and see if there's anything that we can do to connect the dots. So I'm just going to turn it around and see if there's anything we can do to connect the dots to make this thing into something that might resemble a creature of some sort. So and this is where you have to get extremely creative. And if it doesn't turn out, you just toss it and go again. And just because you drew something as one thing does not mean it has to stay that thing. So we drew that as a tail, but I'm going to let it be an ear. And his eye is going to be up here on his ear for whatever reason. And this we'll just let be whatever that is, right? So it makes no difference. It makes no difference. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it up into some sections. And if you want to make it even less realistic, you can certainly do that, right? You don't have to let it stay like this. Oh, Jan, that's very sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are very sweet. So we have, it's looking this way. You can have it look this way. You can have it, whatever way you want. I started on the diagonal for whatever reason. For whatever reason. I don't know why. It's just what it ended up. But it could be anything you want. So let's do it again, shall we? So let's take another one. So we'll start with this one. Let's start this way this time. And let's do, so again, we're going to start, I have to have my cheat sheet here so I get the order right. You can change it any way you want. Yep, you can watch that, Ellie, absolutely. It's a VIP class, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure it is. So let's start with an eye. Let's start up here. 90 degrees to the right, 3 times bigger, draw another eye. Okay, so we got another eye. 90 degrees, we're going to draw a tongue. See, is that what I did? No, an ear. So we're going to do an ear. Let's see, let's just, don't stress out, just make an ear. Okay, and we're going to go again, and we're going to draw a tongue. And then we're going to draw a paw or a foot. So how about looks like a frog. 90 degrees, and we're going to add a tail. So let's do a tail. Okay, now we're going to try and make something out of this, right? Hi, Janice. Okay, let's start. Let's start here. The thing that you can't do with this kind of stuff is worry about what it's going to look like, right? Because it's just for fun. We're going to call it good. We're going to say that's fine. We're not going to go any further than that. These are supposed to be Picasso dogs. They're supposed to be all kinds of weird. Right? All kinds of weird. Hi, Tracy. Yeah. Kids should be great at this. Kids should be great at this stuff. Okay. Then you take watercolors. The cheaper the better. The cheaper the better, and a nice pretty big brush. El Cheapo brushes, super cheap brushes. Some water and some watercolor. These are praying watercolors, which I happen to love. I really thought these were, I was ashamed that I liked these so much until somebody that was a really phenomenal watercolorist said that she liked them. And I'm like, oh, oh, well. Like, if she likes them, it's okay for me to use them, right? Okay. So I'm going to just kind of hold this here so that you can see my paint. Maybe we'll do them this way. So you can see my paint palette as well. And then it's good if you just, well, you can just paint it any way you want. So we'll just start here. So this is red violet. You can always tell which colors I like the best because they're the ones that are almost gone. And it's nice if you repeat colors in odd numbers. So 3 or 5 are good. But it's your dog and you can do it any way you want. You can do it anyhow you want to do it. Chance has decided he's been in there long enough. Okay, so let's go to this color, whatever this is, turquoise or blue-green or turquoise or something. Once you can get over, it's like the Goofy Relatives, if you get over the worrying about it having to be something you know, good, for lack of a better word. If you can get yourself over that, then you can start freeing up and just having a good time with it. That's what you really want to do. You just want to play. Work and play. Work and play is a good thing to do. And normally I would just let these really wet spots just dry, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to absorb them, or some of them, or blob them over on the rest of the... Since this is just junk, it doesn't make any difference. It's just junk. It's just for fun. The more you do stuff like this, you know, that is nonsense and that you don't have to worry about what it looks like, the freer you are going to get. And the more fun it is if you're not attached to an outcome. That is, I believe, why Carla did what she did. And I could be wrong because I'm not in her head, but I think that's why she did this the way she did. So you get yourself out of your own way. Now, if you don't want the colors to bleed into each other, then you need to wait until each color is dry, which I'm clearly not doing. So they're going to kind of blend together a little bit. And this is also a lot easier to do if you're not doing it up in the air. But that's what I'm doing. I'm doing them up in the air. We're just going to let the colors just kind of run and drip here. See what they want to do when they decide to do their thing. All right, what else do we want to use? Let's just use something weird like, oh, let's just use this dark purple. Let's do that. You do want to kind of be aware of what things will work together and what things won't, you know, if you care about whether the colors make mud. In this case, I'm sort of sticking to the cooler side of the color wheel. Some of my favorite things that I've ever done are started out, you know, maybe not like this, but they start out with, oh, that's the worst thing I think I've ever seen anybody do in my whole life. And then at some point, I don't know how it happens, but once in a while they turn into something you go, I really like that. It's one of the better things I've ever done. You know? All right. I'm going to dry this just a little bit. Hello, Linda McAllister. Hi, Melissa. And anybody that I missed coming in, hello, hello. I'm glad you're here. How's Linda McAllister doing today? The cats were on early. Now I'm trying to start the stream with them. And because that way I have a better chance of them being quiet while I'm streaming. And they're doing well. Both of them are doing well. We've had no vet appointments, no hospitalizations. Yeah. Hey, Krissa. So they're having a pretty good day. They're rebelling against their diet. They don't like that at all. Technically, I think with watercolor, you're not supposed to use a heat gun. This is hardly what one could consider anything other than just a little scrap of playtime. Trying to get this one spot dry. We're doing okay here. It's very busy around here. Very busy. Tomorrow, in case I didn't tell you, and I think I didn't, tomorrow's the VIP class. So your email has already gone out with information for the live show and share tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to put these paints away. I'm not going to paint the other one. I probably could, but I'm not going to. What time is it? No, I'm not going to paint it. My stamina kind of wears out in a little bit, so we're going to play with this one. And if I have a chance, I'll do this one before next week, but no guarantees. Okay, so this is pretty much dry. This little area in here, this little green area, I think is probably still wet, but we'll just pretend like it's not. Let's see. I'm going to use, if I can find one here. Of course not. All right, we'll just use this big fat marker. It's probably better that you use the next size down, but we're going to use this one, Fat Sharpie. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over my outlines, just because. Now, in a perfect world, you would let this watercolor really, really dry. And voila, we have a Picasso dog. Yes, we do. So let's give this dog something to stand on, shall we? Because he's floating. So let's just get a little bit of dark something. And that way it'll just ground him a little bit. Because we don't want him just floating in space, right? That would be bad news. And there is our Picasso dog. Doesn't look anything like Carlos Sondheim's at all. But you get the idea of what you can do to play with these and just play, you know? And then if you want to, you can take your marker and you can pattern inside these spots, different sections. So make patterns, just embellish it and make it the way that you want. Maybe he's got hair in his ear. And if you want to put some whiskers on him. Let's see. And there's your made up Picasso dog. I forgot. You forgot. I forgot what? I forgot the nose line. Is that what you're saying? I'm not really sure. They're just funny. They're just funny. It got sent earlier today, Dorothy, about half an hour ago is when it went out. Yeah, Picasso cats. You could do the same thing with cats. Absolutely. I mean, this could be a cat. Doesn't have to be this. I mean, just because we call it dog doesn't mean it's dog. The line under the eye. This one. Is that the one that we're saying? Anyway, they're just fun, you know? And the thing about it is, if you don't like it, and then after you're done with this, then you can take your paints and you can paint in a background. If you want to paint in a background, you can do that. So, let's see. Maybe we'll do that just for grins and giggles, huh? This is where it could all go terribly wrong, especially down here. See? And then you go, and now it's done, because now it has a background. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, Ellie. Good for you. So anyway, there you go. That is the story of that. So get out your stuff and play and just enjoy. It would be a fun Happy Mail card, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's it for today. I've lasted pretty well. Pretty well. I hope you feel better than this guy. There you go. Alicia tried it and she just got a square fish. Hey, you may have a whole new character to build your art around, right? They're fun to do. I mean, look at it from afar. Picasso would probably be ashamed, but we won't go there. No email. I don't know, Dorothy. I'll see if I can check into it and see. I don't know what the deal would be. Did you look in your junk? Did you look in your junk, Dorothy? Junk mail? Spam, whatever. All right, everybody. I will see you next Drama Free Friday. That's the plan. And thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. And come over to How to Get Creative for more classes and all kinds of stuff. And I will see you next Friday, I hope. Fingers crossed. And it will be another Drama Free Friday. That's what we hope. So until then, remember to get creative today, because you know it's easy. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.